of you have had a conversation with a colleague at work, and after that conversation, you felt a lot like this guy on these big screens up here? There you go. What were they thinking? I don't even believe we're even talking about this. Who would want to do it that way? Or perhaps you've attended one of these meetings. Oh, yeah. Now, this is not what we actually looked like in the meeting. This is what we were feeling on the inside in that meeting, right? What are they going on and on about? I don't even believe we're still talking about this. How many folks have been in this meeting? I've been in more than I like to talk about. There's a really simple, logical reason why this is such a common human experience. As human beings, we don't see the world out there the way that it is. We see the world the way that we are. You see, we're all wearing filters. We're all looking at the world through filters, and there are different filters, and those filters make us see things differently. But if we can learn something about our filter and learn something about other filters, then we can see where we're getting each other's way, and then we can take messy conversations and turn them into productive, constructive conversations. Now, let's take a very concrete example. I like to use introverts and extroverts because everybody pretty much gets introverts and extroverts. Now, first of all, it's a spectrum, not a toggle switch. Nobody is completely introverted or completely extroverted. That said, we do tend to have a preference. And where we get in trouble with each other in conversations all revolves around this one difference we have. It's all about timing. Introverts and extroverts have a radically different sense of the passage of time and a very different sense of pacing when they're in their conversation. I'll give you a real-world example. I was at a chamber event, and a woman came up to me and said, "Oh, Carol, I'm so glad I ran into you. I heard you speak at the City Club last Wednesday on introverts and extroverts, and Friday I was meeting a new person, and I wanted to turn him into a customer. And we started talking, and he was talking, and he was talking, and he was talking, and he was talking, and then I remembered what you said. He's never going to stop talking. I'm going to have to jump in there." So she said, I did it. I just summoned up all the courage I had, and I jumped in. She said, and then the conversation really started going back and forth. Well, and guess what? He signed up as my customer. It went just great. And then she said a very telling thing. She said, you know, he actually looked relieved when I jumped in there. Of course he looked relieved. The whole time she was thinking, oh my God, am I ever going to get to say anything? How am I going to find my way in here? Is he going to talk the whole time? He was thinking, is she ever going to say anything? Am I going to have to carry the ball the whole time? Because what he didn't know is he was never leaving her enough space, as a classic extrovert, to enter the conversation. But guess what? She had learned about these two filters, and she knew. So she did what she had to do. She changed her natural behavior, jumped in there, and she got a great outcome from that conversation just because what she knew what to do about those differences in filters. Now then, I have to attend to your safety when you leave this building today and go home. Because if I don't, this is what you're going to do to your primary relationships when you get home. You're going to be tempted to go home and say, hey, honey, I learned some interesting things this morning, and now I know what you are. Yeah, adults hate being told what they are. Do not say that. What you can also be tempted to say is, hey, honey, I learned some interesting things, and now I know what your problem is. Yeah, that's not going to go so well either. There is something, however, you can say that can have a very productive outcome. Hey, honey, I learned some really interesting things about introverts and extroverts today, and I'd like to share with you what I learned about myself. That is the beginning of a very constructive conversation, and that's the one I suggest you have when you get home. And just remember, in these conversations, it's people's filters that are getting in the way and causing messiness. And if we can just use our knowledge to flex where we need to, we can take unproductive conversations and turn them into positive ones, whether it's at home, in the office, or in those dreaded meeting rooms.